I'm talking about my mind is blown. I need you to connect. Need you to connect on this one, man. Shout out to Substack. Currently in New York City. Happy to be finally, I say finally, happy to be booked here at NYU going to the journalism department. My face ass is hell, so I'm gonna get ready to clean my face. And I'm just really baffled. Like as a millennial that was told a whole bunch of things about the Invisible Children documentary. Y'all remember that documentary, The Invisible Children? They had Joseph Cohn, you know what I'm saying? Joseph Coney, I think of what it was. It's just Boko Haram. Think about all the various ways we've been able to justify U.S. intervention to going into a country because they were using children soldiers. You feel me? I remember being in like shit, the 10th grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, some shit like that, watching this Joseph Cohn. To watch my face, you know what I'm saying? But watching this Joseph Cohn and thinking about how the great white liberals that went over there to, I think it was Uganda, to try to, document and journal, you know what I'm saying, be journalists of what was going on in Africa, it was showing how these children, how they were forever impacted based off of the trauma they had seen because their brains wasn't really developed, but they were seeing so much, death and despair and murder. And you feel me? So it really fucked them up to learn that this Afghan person, you feel me? This former CIA agent that was recruited as a child that drove all the way from Washington State to Washington, D.C. to shoot those National Guards. He was a child soldier recruited by the CIA. This ain't blowing y'all mind. Like, I'm talking about just let's sit with this, see with this. The United States federal government that has been creating narratives around protecting children and about going in and invading countries to give them democracy and freedom and fair elections in order to protect the children. You feel me? When they talking about Hamas, and they talking about really anytime they want to demonize any country, but any people, they gonna talk about how they recruiting the children, how they polluting the children. Hey, when they justifying blowing up Palestinian children, they usually try to do it because they saying they gone. They have been already poisoned by the ideology of Hamas, and they gonna hate Israeli Jews, and because of that, they gotta kill them. And it's the reason too why Hamas is so inhumane because they go after soldiers, right? They go after children. They recruit children. Like it's blowing my. I'm not surprised. I want to be clear with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm I'm not surprised. You feel me? But I do think it exposes a lot of the hypocrisy and democracy in this country, man. We didn't justify invading countries to protect children all these goddamn times. The whole time, they just to know you got recruited by the CIA. You feel me? You in Afghanistan. You a 15-year-old boy, and you get recruited by the CIA to do ungodly things to your own people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna fuck you up for the rest of your life. Like, oh man, that right there fucked me up. Like, and friendly reminder, if you a man watching this, exfoliate your shit. You feel me? Like, make sure your skin is able to do a little glisten, able to do a little. I'm 34, I'll be 35 in a couple of days. You don't want to be that middle age. Is 35 middle? I think it is. But you don't want to be that man in his 30s and your face looking like a goddamn, man, what's the thing? Can't even think about can't think about it, but you don't want your face looking bad, you know what I'm saying? Oh, exfoliating a little bit. And my mind still crazy. Like, you was recruiting, you're recruiting kids. This whole time, the CIA been recruiting kids to destabilize and infiltrate their own people. So yeah, this man probably, yeah, he 30 something years old. And what I know about being in your 30s, when you start really reflecting on different things, start thinking about what you could have did different. And it's just like, they told us everything about Joseph Kony and what he was doing to them children in Uganda, and how inhumane Joseph Kony was because he was, you know, going after children and fucking their head up. You know, we was told like I remember we were given images of children with firearms in their hands because we understood that children shouldn't have firearms. And our whole time, our government, the CIA, was doing that in Afghanistan. That shit crazy, man. That shit crazy, man. U.S. imperialism, they use women, children, religion, anything to justify itself. That blow my mind. Use children. You've been lying to American citizens this whole time, but really, y'all should have been already knowing if I they don't care about no kids, bro. It's a means to an ends, man. They demonize, they demonized Malcolm X for saying by any means necessary. Like shit, he learned it from the government. The federal government taught him that by any means necessary was a great way to get an objective done. And just like it was going to destabilize Afghanistan and extract all type of information and cause all type of chaos and instability, even if it meant using children. I'm told about Boko Haram, the Islamist extremists in Nigeria, and how he uses children. Just like man, this one right here really is like, boy, mo- more Americans should be talking about how the CIA uses American tax dollars to go recruit children in foreign countries to infiltrate and to be goddamn like to me, it's thinking about like this. Like imagine, it's probably happened before, you know what I'm saying? But imagine the United States federal government, the CIA, going into the hood, finding a little 15, 16-year-old black child in the hood, recruiting him, putting him through all type of different trainings and shit, just to infiltrate and kill and do extrajudicial shit to their own people. And just like, yeah. We've been told so much about Joseph Kony, like children, bad military, always used to show the irrationality and the lack of development in humans when it comes to non-European countries. If you want to make an Arab country or African country look bad, we're gonna sensationalize and center how they use children and how these children are used as tools of war, and it does all these, everlasting traumatic things on their bodies and on their minds and on their hearts. And we talk about how we got to go in U.S. intervention and justify, you feel me, a whole bunch of land theft and a whole bunch of extracting the resources because we got to save them children. And the whole time, like, like, man, so many people that went over to Afghanistan and tried to act like what they was doing was done in the justification of helping the children uniquely in Afghanistan. Whole time we recruiting children in Afghanistan to get them to fuck up their own people. And of course, you couldn't stay in Afghanistan. You're being used for goddamn 20 years to be waging war against your own people. Yeah, you can't stay here. And just like understanding American imperialism and what happened in Afghanistan, understanding that's a playbook that our country likes to use, and is recognizing how once you have U.S. intervention and you have military interventions in your country, there are a lot of things that could never be, you know what I'm saying, it'll never be the same again. And it's just now thinking about somebody said that fascism is just it's just imperialism turned on the inside. And thinking about everything now we're experiencing in these last couple of months when it comes to Trump's presidency, we experiencing everything that our military been wreaking havoc on the world. Now we experience it domestically. You know what I'm saying? Having troops deployed on you in your own village, in your own community, in your own hood, and they being able to do whatever they want to do, even if they ain't supposed to, even though they can't, but they can, but they can't, but they can. They doing it anyway. That's really what it seemed like a bunch of people been dealing with throughout the world. I seen this black man get slammed on his face in Okinawa because the military thought they can do whatever they want to do in Okinawa. You feel me? Now you got now, like I seen Vic Mensa made a video of the apartment complex that got hit by ICE in Chicago, and he was talking about everything they was doing. And then today, learning, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you get called a conspiracy, like before this Afghan dude drove all the way to Washington, D.C., you probably get called a crazy conspiracy theorist if you talked about the idea of the CIA recruiting children. You get called crazy. You get called, telling you that might, man, what? This man recruited as a teenager. Then I read reports that said his family was warning him. His family was warning people trying to get help. He was turning down the refugee help. You feel me? He been in constant depression. He been having episodes. He'll lock himself into a room for days and then, jump out in the car and go drive across the country. Like, I remember being a teenager and watching them Invisible Children documentaries, or watching that documentary and seeing them children being 8 years old, 9 years old, having hearts of pain and sorrow and suffering of a goddamn 35, 40-year old named number 8, 9, 10. And I remember how I could think about the music. I could think about the cries. I could think about even the commentator, I guess you know what I'm saying? I can't even think about, like, you know what I mean, the narrator of the documentary and talking about how these kids, like, children soldiers, like, just the paradox of being a child and being a soldier and being programmed to kill and being programmed to not value life at an early age and how much it impacts how you relate to people, how you relate to the earth. You know what I'm saying? Just thinking like our government been doing that too. And then, my mind's so crazy. I thought about like this. My mind's so crazy. I think about like this. Think about like this. So if America was doing that right now, think about how many indigenous native kids was being recruited by the American government in the 1700s, 1800s. You feel me? Recruited as 8, 9, 10 years old. You know what I mean? They from this Native American tribe, that Native American tribe. The government then got their ass, captured them, you know what I'm saying? Taught them different ways of infiltrating, taught them different ways of being, you feel me, you know what I'm saying, an informant. And now you invade, and now you is infiltrating native tribes that's trying to resist colonialism. 'Cause that's really what this showing. It's really showing that this tactic of recruiting children and using children against their own people, that's probably an old American imperialist tactic. And I'm willing to bet, you feel me? I could do some research probably being the bet. I'm willing to bet, you know what I'm saying? It's probably documented that this government been doing that shit for a long time. You know what I mean? I know I just got done doing my little DNA test. Shout out to African ancestry. Found that my matrilineal side is from Cameroon, the Massa, the Mafa, and the Katupo. Katupo is like three different tribes, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Tied to. And what I've already been learning about is that people where they come from in northern Cameroon, like this area was always being invaded, always being, you know what I'm saying, being pillaged and shit. And I'm thinking about how a there was already different tactics that Europeans was using with Africans in the, with different African people on the coast to go infiltrate, you know what I'm saying, African villages inland and shit, children being used as tools of imperialism is really like, it's Western, you know what I'm saying? It's very, 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 very Western. And, the Western narrative is to pervert power and to flip reality. So while Western powers, France and England and America and shit, is talking about they going and saving people in other countries to save the children and to protect children from having their psyches forever impacted, to not putting guns in their hands and making sure we protect these children from not being soldiers. Whole time we doing it. Whole time we using it. Whole time we doing it and using. And I'm about to get ready to make me a video. You know what I'm saying? I think I already put my face lotion on. I'm finna get ready to make me a video. Currently here in New York City. Uh, American imperialism, man. American imperialism can really justify doing any suffering as long as it can say it is bettering, it's for expansion of empire or the strengthening of imperialism. And it's just like, shit, you can justify it, man. But shout out to y'all on Substack. I'm really just, you know what I mean? So no argument here. The U.S. created that shoe as so many others. Oh yeah, neurodivergent hodgepodge. And that's really the reality that we all should sit in. And before, I know that we live in like a 48-hour news cycle, and we usually don't get to process nothing in this media we live in. You feel me? They're shoving shit down our throat literally every hour. If I've been on this live stream for 30 minutes, it's guaranteed when I get off of this live stream, it's gonna be a whole bunch of news of things that's happened, right? But there's certain things we should just sit with before we jump to the next story. And it's just like, nah, this man was so deranged and so impacted off of the things that our government did to him. They felt sorry for him and tried to give him refuge here in this country. But the way that I feel like this, everything we learned about Joseph Coney, and the Invisible Children, and why it's bad to put guns in kids' hands, and even this. As a black person, the way that they demonize and say that the Crips and the Bloods and the GDs and like they bad because these gangs is putting guns in kids' hands. Like that's literally the narrative. The narrative is like the reason why these gangs is bad is because they fuck up these kids' mentalities and they put them in the streets and make them become desensitized to life and make it where they believe that taking life is a great badge of honor, and that's the way they should be able to identify themselves, and that's the way they should be able to prove their identity. That's the reason why gangs is bad. Gangs equal bad. Guns in kids' hands is bad because children shouldn't be, and then our government been doing it. It's like, y'all see this shit? Like GDs, Vice Lords, you feel me? BDs, Bloods, Crips, they bad because they put guns in little niggas' hands and they make them, you feel me, view the world in a way that even when they become my age, you feel me, is, and that's what we say gangs do. So now we can finally admit the CIA act like a gang, man. Like it's just it's just a gang that's been legitimized by tax dollars and by, the sanction of the state. So all of the gangster shit it does is justified. You know what I'm saying? It's justified because it's for domestic security. Even when you gotta recruit Afghani kids to fuck up the Afghani people in Afghanistan, and yeah, man, I'm out. I'm out. Till next time. Until next time. Yeah, breaking news fatigue. Hey, I got Trump fatigue, man. I got Trump fatigue. I'm tired of hearing about this man. I'm tired of seeing about him. You know what I'm saying? It's like I really had to remind my kids one time, like, hey, there was a time where you didn't hear about the president on 24-hour news cycle. There was times we didn't hear about the president for weeks at hand. We hear about Donald Trump every day. Donald Trump can fart. Donald Trump farted today in the Capitol Hill, and when he farted, he passed an executive order. And it's like, man, tired of hearing about him. I'm tired of hearing about him. Y'all tired of hearing about him. You know, I'm tired of hearing about him. The last thing I say, Donald Trump is at a news conference. Buddy they asking him about this Afghani shooter. You know what I'm saying? And when he asked about this question, Donald Trump started talking shit about Somalia, Somalians, Ilhan Omar. The reporter asked him, "Sir, what does this have to do with the Afghani shooter?" Trump said nothing and proceeded to talk shit about Somalia, Somalians, and Ilhan Omar. That's This man is a king deflector. Like I'm talking about, he's so good at deflecting that it's scary. And he didn't normalize the whole bunch of bullshit as being presidential. You feel me? I remember a day and time when the president would do this shit and he would do it in private. You know what I mean? It wasn't publicized. Now Donald Trump do it in this. Hey, education is elevation. I see y'all, every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Central, I do a little live stream about news. So if you enjoy my commentary or talking about news in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I encourage you to pull up again on me here at Substack, 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. And we, we build a little community right here. You feel me? Building, I feel like it's past due. You know what I mean? I'm looking for people that's looking to have good faith dialogue, even when we disagree. Even when we disagree, as long as the disagreement doesn't, evolve and reduce down to, character indicts and insults. Goddamn, we can disagree. I'm a debater at heart. My first real job as an adult was as a debate coach. So I'm down with disagreement. Disagreement has value with me. Substack seems to be a little different place that can value that disagreement without it going to some nonsense bullshit. Education is elevation. I'll holler at y'all next time. Bring a friend and some popcorn, and we're gonna talk about it.